You are live.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
No, I'm met iemand man. Maar ik ga vanuit de channel. Hi,
Shalom, yeah. Ja, volgens mij is het niet goed.
Ja, is wel beter. It's better. Better.
Shalom, we're the Hebrew Israelites, coming week in and week out to prophesy the downfall of this wicked kingdom. But before we start, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Hakodash.
Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us his truth and who rule well. Peace and citations unto the Akim that is spread around the four corners of the earth, spreading this word in sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect.
Shalom.
God, shalom.
Shalom.
Yeah, man, so we're going to start off with Habakkuk 2. You know, we're going to go into the characteristics of the man that is going to be destroyed. You know, and you yourself should already know by now who this man is, but you know, if you don't know, we're going to go into it and break it down.
If you don't know, no, you know.
Yeah.
This is Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved.
Yeah, man, and that's what we're doing right now. We're standing upon our watch. You know, like it says in Ezekiel. You go to Ezekiel 33, or the other one that you have, Ezekiel 3 also.
Want both or you want one?
Yeah, whichever one you choose.
32.
Because we are standing upon our watch right now. You know, the Most High, he set up men. He woke up men to become watchmen over the nation of Israel. Because the nation of Israel, they're zombies right now, man. They're the walking dead, you know. But now you have certain people of us that are waking up, and nowadays you have these celebrities that are claiming to be Israelites, you know, just like Kyrie Irving, you know, the basketball player, Kanye West, which he changed his name to Ye. You know, I think it's all because of things in the contract, you know, stuff like that. Because once they own you, they own your name, they own your brand. It's the same thing with what's this comedian's name again? Dave Chappelle. You know, he already saw that this man, he was using and misusing his name, but now you sold yourself and you sold your name, so you don't have anything to stand on. So only thing you can do is change your name. You know, come with something else, because they own that shoe, they own that brand.
The trademark.
Yeah.
Because once you are basically pleading your life unto Satan and signing up your name with blood and things like that, they tell you what to do, man. They tell you, hey, go talk to Spotify. Hey, go to talk to Deezer, man. Go talk to this company. Why? Because you need to make them money. You don't own yourself. I was watching the TV at my mom's house, and then this advertisement of Thuisbezorgd, which is this Dutch deliverance company that brings food to people's home, and I saw Katy Perry on there, man, making an advertisement for Thuisbezorgd. I was like, this is pitiful, man. This is, you're supposed to be up here, but you're doing a certain work, man. That's shameful, man. You don't own your own life.
Even the fastest man on the world, so-called fastest man on the world, Usain Bolt, looking like a sucker in all these commercials, Allianz commercials.
Oh yeah. What does it say? No problem.
Yeah, they make him look like he's not able to conversate in a real manner.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what they do with our people. They make our people proverbs and bywords. But yeah, we're appointed thereunto. You know, the Most High, he made it. He shows us that, you know, what he said is coming to pass. We didn't listen to his law, statutes, and commandments. We broke them. Our forefathers broke them. So now we're living out the curses. You know, so these are all tokens to show you that we are those people, not these Amalekites. You know, they say that they are the chosen people. They do rule the world right now. They have everything in their hand, but it's only because the Most High let it. You know, let it be like that. You see?
Precept on what you just mentioned. And this is concerning the curses in Deuteronomy chapter 28. And this is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
Yeah, man. So these things have been put upon us so that we would wake up, so that we would see that, okay, this is talking about us. You know, we had to get the breakdown first, and then it would be.
Shalom. Ja, was je me shara for that.
I did it on purpose, so you have to say it again.
Damn. I have the scripture for you that talks about the zombie, basically. Proverbs.
Wait a second, let me read this first. This is Mark 8, verse. Let me see, verse 36. For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? You know, like what we are going into. These artists, you know, Kanye West and all these celebrities, they give away their soul. They give away their integrity. You know, they don't own it anymore. You see?
That's why he said they sacrificed his mother.
Yeah, he said it himself.
By Michael Jordan, Dr. Dre, his son,
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, his father.
Yeah.
So that's what they do, man. You know, sometimes it's an indirect sacrifice. You know, like this guy, Bruno Mars. As he signed to the thing, all of a sudden he heard his mama died. You know, that's an indirect sacrifice. Satan is like, oh, you do something over there, then I'm gonna do something over here. Just like how you have them rituals. You know, Ezekiel did a ritual in Ezekiel 5, and after that it came to pass in the real life of people, with the Israelites, with the destruction of Israel. Ezekiel 5, he did a ceremony, ritualistic type ceremony on the right hand side. Most High told him to do it, and people died because he said take 2 parts of the hair and then throw it in the wind, and those 2 parts got scattered and got their ass killed, put in slavery, and then 1/3 was captured, but the 2/3 I think was killed.
Everything, the sword would go after them.
The sword, the scattering, famine,
beasts.
pestilence, everything. Yeah, man. It's lucky. You want to say something, man?
Yeah, because what these people that perform witchcraft, they work with the transfer of energy, man. If they want to perform something, they gotta give up something in order to receive that. Yep. So Satan, he requires an offering, you know, in order for you to get your money, your fame, and your riches, man, in this world, which eventually benefit and profit nothing unto you, man.
And we all presumed, we were thinking that, you know, Kanye, he sacrificed his mother, but now he came out and said it himself, you know, so he confirmed what everybody was already thinking, you know.
But he said it himself also. He made a crappy deal, and he sold his soul to the devil. And I think even there he said something about his mother. My mother died because of me. So shit. Yeah, it is because of him.
Something like sold his soul for a Happy Meal or something, right?
Yeah,
it came. For a Happy Meal.
It came. At least it came with a Happy Meal.
At least it came with a Happy Meal, and that Happy Meal was the richest of this world.
Messed up.
Mark 8, verse 38. Whosoever therefore shall be ashamed of me and of my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, of him also shall the Son of Man be ashamed when he cometh in the glory of his Father with the holy angels.
So can I say something? You got some dudes over there with a hard-ass microphone prophesying, trying to be just like us, these fake-ass Christians, man. These Hamites, these African, they're not Hamites, but I just call them Hamites from time to time. Basically, these African and Surinamese, and a lot of Surinamese and Antilleans and Creole and people like that. Yeah. Basically, slave descendants and West Africans. They're standing over there with a speaker and a mic, and they preach it. They're preaching about Caesar Borgia, man. You got a lot of people that actually want to be like us, man. They want to take to the streets because they see, like, God damn, to them, it's like Satan is never resting. We got to do the same as these devil Negroes. Always with the black Hebrew slice. Fucking hate the man. They might not use the word fucking, but I bet your ass they hate their guts, man, because when they come to you, they speak with that violence, man. You know what I'm saying? We ain't even talking like that, man. That's how they talk when they talk to us, and they're talking about, I do this in love. Yeah. If they had swords, they would kill us. But that's up to the Most High, because he's not gonna allow that. You know, because they're gonna be put to death. Y'all heard the Zah. Because if you check out this the slave trade, you know what happened? It was Esau, Ishmael, Ham, Moab, Ammon, Elam, all of them had their hand in the slave trade, man. All of them. And you can find that in the book of Amos, chapter 1. It mentions them. Moab, Ammon, Ishmael, Hamite, Ham, and of course Edom. You know, all of them got mentioned right there. And then Zephaniah too is Ammon and Moab again. But yeah, they stole our land too. You know.
Yeah. You want me to read it?
Yeah, if you want.
Verse 6. Let me see. Where do you want me to start? You got the same Bible, so.
Damascus.
Okay. This is Amos 1, verse 3.
Which is where Syria is right now. Those are not Arabs, but they're Arab-like. Just like how you have East Indians in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, when you look at them, they just look like, you know, Hindustani Kuli people and stuff like that. But they're of another tribe. Just like how you have Somalia and Eritrea. If you look up Somalia females on Google and you look up Eritrea females on Google, the Eritrea females, they have more like Suriname type of faces sometimes. Sometimes, not all the time. Because you can see that they are not our people, but some of them really look like us. And the Somalians, they have a different skull. Their skull is different. Different than the Eritrea. Eritrea females, they look kind of normal to me. But them Somalian females, they don't look normal to me. Not all of them. You got a big ass forehead, yeah.
They look all the same as well.
Yeah. They got that what?
They look all the same as well.
They look all the same, yeah.
Same
because
face.
they have something that's called, you know, sticking to your own. That's why they look alike.
This is Amos 1, verse 3. Thus said the Most High, for 3 transgressions of Damascus, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they have threshed Gilead with threshing instruments of iron, but I will send a fire into the house of Hazael, which shall devour the palaces of Ben-Hadad. I will break also the bar of Damascus, and cut off the inhabitant from the plain of Aven, and him that holdeth the scepter from the house of Eden, and the people of Syria shall go into captivity into Kir, said the Most High. Thus said the Most High, for 3 transgressions of Gaza, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof.
Gaza is them Hamites, but them Arabs are in that country right now. In that region right now.
Because they carried away captive the whole captivity to deliver them up to Edom.
That's what the Hamites did. They delivered us up to the Edoms. But you got to understand, Jeremiah 34, you had jakes that was selling jakes. So what happened in the transatlantic slave and the Indian Ocean slave? Because the Indian Ocean, the motherfuckers sold us through there. Okay, so it's not just Edom, not just Ham, not just Ishmael. East Indians had a part in it too. Iran had a part in it also. That's why until this day they got black feet in Iran also. Yeah. But anyway, so what they did was this: you had Ham working together with Ishmael, and then they came together with the house Negroes. How? The book of Judith, it shows you that it was the house Negro that told our secrets to these Assyrians and Syrians. You know, he said, listen, if they follow their God, don't mess with them. If they don't, then we can attack them. So you get the house Negroes. They was telling the outcasts, they was talking about the outcasts of Israel, which was on the west coast of Israel, which was on the west coast of Africa. They was telling the people round about, like, yo, this is what you need to do to destroy them. Those were some house Negroes telling them what to do. And then the motherfuckers went and did what they was told to do, how to do it. And that's how they got the bulk of the Judah, Benjamin, and Levi in the slavery. Because Israel, it was done. That land was done. After 70 AD, it was done. The Ishmaelites was in that land now. And they hated us. They hated us so much so as that as soon as they got the information, they went to go make some trades with Esau. So it was like this: the Hamites made trades with the Ishmaelites, and the Ishmaelites made trades with Amalek. Because the Hamites, they wanted that thing from them Islam people, and them Islam, they wanted that money, which is that thing, the money. They wanted that from Amalek, and the boats was all Amalek. You know, not to say the KKK and the Nazis and the average devils, the Edomites, didn't have no part in it. Why? The KKK hates the Amalekite people, the so-called Jews. The Nazis hate the so-called Jews, but they still hate us though. They were still lynching us and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because they were saying no niggers allowed, no Jews, no Italians, no Irish and stuff like that. So don't think because now you have average Edomites talking about it was me, it was the Jews, they did it. No, you did it too, devil. You gotta understand that we ain't forgetting you. You know what I'm saying? We ain't forgetting you because you was the ones that was hanging us too, burning us, torturing us, raping our women, castrating us, selling us further, off of the auction block, buying us off of the auction block. Yeah, the Amalekites used to sell us, but you regular Edomites used to buy us and then torture the shit out of us. So you gonna pay too. You ain't escaping. Talking about it wasn't us. It was only the Jews. It was the Jews. It was you too. It's the same people.
I got that in Jude 5 with the trader. This is Jude 5, verse 18. But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles, very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs. And the temple of their God was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemies. But now are they returned to their power, and are come up from the places where they were scattered, and have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their power, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
This is what they did, man. They did overcome us because they knew that if we kept the law, they wouldn't be able to mess with us. That's why they was able to go to the Native Americans in America and destroy them. And it was not only Hernando de Soto. I made a video about that. He documents that there were three types of Native Americans. There was the African-looking one. Then he said there was a small, feminine, small face, small nose, Asian-looking one. And then he said there was a tall, thin, Asian-looking one. Those were the other tribes that was there too, man. We know that the so-called Negroes was already there when they went there before 1600. They went there in the 1400s and they saw the African-looking tribes. That's what they said. They called them all Swarsa. You know what I'm saying? They called them also an Tonti. They said it was a bunch of Tonti people and Swarsa, like black people. Tonti means brown. So they saw brown Native Americans and they saw the African-looking one because they said, I'm reading it as I Hernando de Soto. If you Google it, Hernando de Soto when he went to America, check that out. If not, I'm trying to put it in the description box if I remember it. But anyway, he went there and he said he saw the broad-looking ones, the African-looking natives then, and those were the tribes that he could not win. That's Reuben. He couldn't win those. He said they was too strong to take over, but the other ones they took them over. That's how Reuben never lost. Reuben never lost, you know. But that was the strength of Jacob. That was the beginning and the standard of Jacob, basically, and they didn't win, you know. So they just left it. But yeah, I read that book, man. You know what I'm saying? Not read that whole book. I mean, I made a video while I'm reading the book. That's what I mean. I didn't read the whole book. I only grabbed what it was necessary because the making of too many books is gonna make you tired, man. You know how many books I have come across? I just made a video about the Jewish almanac. The Jewish almanac, there has the word Negro 4 times in it, or 3 times. I just grabbed those pages and I made a video about it. I'm not gonna read the whole book, but I did see a lot of interesting in the book because I have the whole book, by the way, PDF type, and I was flipping the pages, and it shows you the transatlantic slave trade. It shows you that. It shows you also where Amalek comes from. they show you that those people are Khazars, man, and which goes back to Amalek in the Jewish Almanac, and it's their book. They're telling you what they're. I mean, it's funny. They're telling you. So yeah.
If you don't want the so-called black person to find out, put it in the book.
That's also what I think. Who is it? I think it was Kyrie Iverson said that. Ivory.
Kyrie Irving.
Irving. I always call him Iverson. I don't know why.
Iverson was the other
I
one.
know. Basketball guy.
The small guy also.
And lost all his money too.
Yeah.
Right?
yeah.
These gigs is that horrible. You got that guy from PM Dawn.
Yeah.
You remember him?
Yeah.
It's from that song on damn, how did that song go again? It's a beautiful song.
PM Dawn.
It's PM Dawn.
Back.
But
Back to, no, not back to life. Shit. I'm googling for
that ain't a song. Oh my god.
with the chick singing, right? PM
That
Dawn.
song is called Memory Bliss, but then it goes the same as Spandet Balu or something like that. PMD Memory Bliss is Memory Bliss.
Memory Bliss.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, because they do a lot of Jakes heavy wrong, man. You know, they make them die, they make them suffer real poor, take all their rights to their music and stuff like that. You know, that's what you get when you got it?
Yeah,
Just play that song.
Set the drift on Memory Bliss.
Set the drift on Memory Bliss.
Yeah,
But play that song for the
No, don't play the
No,
song.
don't worry. It's not gonna do
Copyright.
No. It's
Play
not
3
gonna do
seconds.
that.
3
Play
seconds.
it like 3 seconds, but in the middle.
In the middle, partner.
Hey, DJ, play that song, DJ.
You got commercials?
I
Yeah.
got commercials on this one.
You're making these people rich, man.
Yes.
You need to stop that shit. Put an ad block on there. You know, get them out of here.
Yeah, this song.
Oh yeah.
Je moet het bij die camera houden.
Yeah, just put the. No, don't do this. Put the music. Put the pause it. Yeah. And then put the title. Put bright light.
Partner.
And the title.
And the title.
Just put the.
Oh shit.
Put the title.
Shut up.
Bright light. You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Put the title. You need to watch this guy. How they took everything. How they took everything from him. And he's like the guy that actually came up with the rapping and no. He came up with a whole new style to hip hop and stuff like that. But anyway, back to the Hamites and the Edomites and the Assyrians and stuff like that. This is Amos. Yeah, let me hit it with this done.
Amos 1, verse 7. Let me start at 6 again. Thus said the Most High, for 3 transgressions of Gaza, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they carried away captive the whole captivity, and delivered them up to Edom. But I will send a fire on the wall of Gaza, which shall devour the palaces thereof, and I will cut off the inhabitants from Ashdod, and him that holdeth the scepter.
Ashdod is a Hamite again, because those are all Hamites. But nowadays you have Esau living in that land. You know, that shows you that in Gaza you had Hamites, but Arabs is living there now. And Ashdod you had Hamites again, but Edomites, Amalek is living there now. So the Most High is still going to judge them according to the region and also according to their nation. Because the Hamites, just because you're not in that land, don't mean you ain't gonna pay. Those are the things you did. You helped sold us to the Arabs and the East Indians and the Asians and the other Hamites and also on Esau. And I think I said Ishmael already. But
Zechariah 9. That's
Yeah, you can do that when I'm going.
Wow. Amos
I'm
1 verse 8. And I will cut off the inhabitants from Ashdod, and him that holdeth the scepter from Ashkelon,
All your rulers are gonna be cut off.
and I will turn mine hand against Ekron, and the remnant of the Philistines shall perish, said
All-
the Most High.
All you Hamites, and who's living in Philistia right now? A bunch of Arabs. So guess what? These cave people that are in that land, along with the Arabs, they're both going to be rooted out the land, and the true Hebrew Israelites are going to be put back in the land where we belong. Go on.
Verse 9. Thus said the Most High, for 3 transgressions of Tyrus,
Tyre is also another bunch of Hamites, but who's in that land right now? Ishmael.
and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof,
You're not going to get away with that.
because they delivered up the whole captivity to Edom,
That's what they did. They did it. It was them warrior-ass Hamites that came down and that basically snatched us from a whole big region as big as freaking I think as big as America, man. You know, because that whole big region of Africa was called Negro land, and then there under there was the kingdom of Judah. You had the kingdom Fort Benjamin, which is just like Fort Knox. This old Fort Benjamin from the Benin people. And you had a lot of people, man. You had even the tribe of Gad over there, man. And you have people that call themselves Gad over there until this day, and they look just like so-called West Africans, man. You know, they're the tribe of Gad. It's when they went to Americas, you gotta understand they have been laying with these Moabites and these Ammonites for decades, and they have also been laying with people of Assyria. So they look kind of not like the other tribes. You know what I'm saying? But the Lord is gonna fix that, man. You think you think Wesley Snipes is still gonna look like Wesley Snipes? He's not gonna look like Wesley Snipes. Once he get that power from Yahweh Shem Yahshua, that new body, he's not gonna be able to look like himself no more. Nobody's gonna be like, hey man, you used to be Wesley Snipes back in the days. Nah, man. It's gonna be everybody gonna have a new body in the twinkling of an eye, man. You know, 1 Corinthians 15 speaks of that. Can you finish it? Where's the touch button?
That's the big hard.
you have a map. If you look for the, let me see, it's called the Royal Map with the maker of Emmanuel.
They don't call it that no more. You know what you need to do? You need to go to Google and type in on Slave Coast map 1747 or 1737. From 1737 until 1747. But you don't need to put the 17. Just put in Slave Coast map. Slave Coast map, Google. Check it out.
And it shows you also that they would have ships, slave ships leaving London ports, carrying black European slaves. Ships landed in Africa carrying black Scots, black Irish, black Brits.
Call the book's name and call the page name of the book.
Now, this is
So that somebody else could go and find it too. This is irritating when somebody's quoting something and you want to research it yourself, but you know you might find a PDF online, but you don't know which page he just read from.
it's this one. And so this is the book.
Yeah, but
It's
you
called.
I have a big one. I have a map that's like 60 MB. If you don't know how big 60 MB is, that's Mario Bros 3. That game, that's like 50 times over. You know, that's how big the map is. You know, that map is bigger than the whole Super Mario 3 game from Nintendo. It's bigger than the Super Mario 4 from Super Nintendo too, if I'm correct. I'm not sure about that. But on 60 MB, it's nothing. But it's bigger than Super Nintendo. It's bigger than the Nintendo game. I tell you that. It's like maybe 40 or 50 times bigger than that Nintendo game Mario 3 with the raccoon tail. That Mario with the yellow cartridge.
Yeah.
For the people that don't know what a Nintendo game is, well, let's just say it's 60 MB, which is an M from Michael and B from Bernard or something like that.
That's what this,
Bart Simpson. Yeah, B from Bart. Yeah.
this
What's
the
the name
book.
of the page?
The book is The Negro Question, Part 4. The Missing Link. It's from Lee Cummings. And the page is page 52.
Page 52. Right. That's what he just read.
Yep.
And like I said, if you type in Slave Coast map, then you're going to get it. And I got a big map, you know what I'm saying? And all the names are on it. Fort Judah. They spell it Judah as in J, like, Jason. And then U from Utah. And then D from, demon, whatever. And then Judah. A from Adolf. Heil.
Sichal.
Fucking with you. You know what I'm saying? That's the map.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, man. Hey.
So,
All this truth is coming out, man. Esau can't really stop us. No, he could never stop us. But I mean, like, Esau. Let me say it better. Esau can't really hide this truth no more. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna have random Jake popping up, starting making memes and stuff like that, man. I saw a meme the other day that said, women don't. Something with men. Men have the children. They have boys and girls. Women don't, and stuff like that. I started laughing, man. I was like, that's Jake. You got to understand Jake is a mama's boy, always glorifying his mother and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. Now we're going back to glorifying the fathers, which is what we are. We all forefathers came back up in this world, born again. Can you finish the Amos?
This Amos 1 verse 9. Thus said the Most High, for 3 transgressions of Tyrus, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they delivered up the whole captivity to Edom, and remembered not the brotherly covenant. But I will send a fire on the wall of Tyrus, which shall devour the palaces thereof. Thus said the Most High, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever.
Yeah, man, that's you Edomites, man. That's you regular ass Edomites, and that's you elite, the ones that are in the palaces. Those are the Amalekites, man, living in the palaces, man. Because if you see that land of Amalek right now, because it is the land of the stolen land, But if you see that land, it's a desert, man. I wouldn't want to even go there on vacation. I even look up like an Israeli landscape. That's one of the ugliest things I've ever seen in my life, like for real. There's dust, just brown sand. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, over here, Europe, I don't even like these motherfuckers too much, but I seen some lands. I started coveting it. I was like, I want that, man. And it's not covered as in wickedness. We gonna take that, like P. Diddy back in the days. Take that. We gonna take that, man. I seen lands over here. Just type in Romanian landscape, Hungarian landscape. Make sure to pick the summer. You know what I'm saying? The winter is pretty too, but still, the summer and the spring, those are the ones that I'm like, yeah. There's so many countries in Europe that, hey man, you're gonna have plenty of land to choose from and plenty of wilderness to actually do stuff in. It's gonna be filled with animals, man. All the animals are gonna roam without the borders. There's wolves again here in Holland, and what they're trying to do, they're killing them again. They demonic like that. Are you done with that?
Amos 1 verse 11. And his anger did tear perpetually.
Hurry up.
And he kept his wrath forever. But I will send a fire upon the demon,
Demon, which are the wise men of Edom.
which shall devour the palaces of Basra. Thus said the Most High.
Palaces of Basra. Basra is the head city of Edom, and the palaces are basically where the elites are at. It's not necessarily in Edom right now, because the palaces of Basra are right here in Holland. They're right there in England. They're right there in America. They're right there in Australia. You know, Australia has only a population of like, I think it was 20% of the whole continent is really populated. Think about that. 20% of the continent is populated. The rest is kind of desert, but then you have tropical regions there too, full of a lot of sweet water. You know. So hey man, the Most High is gonna rejuvenate that. He's gonna rejuvenate Greenland, because under that layer, these Edomites, they found out that there's like a forest over there. That's why they make movies with the guy Drake Johnson,
Yeah.
where they jump under the ground and then they come into another world where the sun is at. Crazy stuff.
No.
Not Jumanji, the other one
Nah.
with the island and stuff like that. They go,
The forbidden
something like that.
country or something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
but then it has like dinosaurs over there and stuff like that. I'm not saying dinosaurs are in Greenland. No. I'm just referring to that movie. They had dinosaurs in there too. But we gonna get that back, by the way, in the kingdom. So is you done with that, man? Because everybody's already here, I believe.
Amos 1 verse 13. Thus said the Most High, for 3 transgressions of the children of Ammon.
Ammon too, man. Don't forget them Ammonites in Japan right about now, man. Doing all that little fancy technology shit, you know. Being a partaker with Esau, being a wife to Esau, you know. Also Moab being a wife to Esau, man. You know, basically you're that bitch. That's what I said. Moab and Ammon are a bunch of bitches to Esau. That's what I said. Go on.
And for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they have ripped up the women with child at Gilead.
Yep.
That they might enlarge their border.
Yeah, man. That's what you did in that time. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna pay for that.
But
Is that done?
No, it's 2 verses.
Okay.
But I will kindle a fire in the wall of Rabbah, and it shall devour the palaces thereof.
Rabbah is the head city of Ammon, which is the head city of Japan. You have little Tokyo in America. That's Rabbah too. Everywhere the Ammonites are, that's little Rabbah. Just like how everywhere Israelites are, that's a little Jerusalem. Everywhere Esau is, that's a little Basra, especially when they're in their rulership over there. You know, when you go to the West Indies, when you go to the regions where the Edomites are, they basically run the whole fucking place. You can't go over there living there for more than 300 years, 200 years. Your people been living there. You can't go over there. They're talking about you trespassing. Where's your card at? Are you what? The only way you're gonna get into those gated areas is if you show them an ID that you work there. And when I say work there, you cleaning up stuff, man. You cleaning their pool. You taking the dirty ass hair out of the holes in the pool and stuff like that, man. When it's plugged up, that's when they start calling you. Hey, come here. Go get your hands dirty. Go get your hands wet. Can you finish it?
Amos 1 verse 14.
Right.
But I will kindle a fire in the wall of Rabbah, and it shall devour the palaces thereof, with shouting in the day of battle, with the tempest in the day of the whirlwind, and their king shall go into captivity.
All your kings are gonna be servants, man. They're gonna lick boot.
He and his princes together, said the Most High.
And your princes. Don't forget your princesses, man. Your daughters. Don't forget your daughters. And we're gonna come for your daughters too. So with that, I'm gonna say shalom.
This is Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end.
God, yeah, man. So that's that perpetual hatred that Esau has for his brother. for the Israelites. Up until this day, he's slaying us. In America, you see he's gunning Israelites down. That's that perpetual hatred that he has in his soul, in his spirit. Because Genesis 27, you get it?
This is Genesis chapter 27 and verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him.
You see, so that's that perpetual hatred that he has. He hated us. He hated the Israelites. Wait a second. He hated Jacob because of the blessing that he got. And now he's like, okay, I'm gonna wait until my father's dead so that I can slay him. And that is seared and that's kind of seared in his soul. Time and time again when he has that hatred when he sees us. That's that when you look at Esau, certain people, you see that they just hate you. They have that hatred within them, their soul.
And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob.
Yeah. So that's that hatred that he has, and he's coming to get us, man. He wants to kill all the Israelites for that blessing, but he can't get it. His blessing is the sword. That's why when he guns us down, when he kills us, he's not in trouble. He's not in trouble like other men, like the scripture says. The Most High gave him that blessing, and he can go around killing, raping, robbing, and murdering, but nothing's happening now. But the time is pending. The time is going to come where the Most High, he's going to bring that judgment upon Esau. Like we're going to go into Habakkuk 2. I wanted to start with that.
Obadiah, precept.
Yep.
It's Obadiah and verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever.
Yeah, man. So the end of Esau is going to be that he's going to be cut off forever for the violence against his brother. We are the twin brother of Esau, but he's the evil brother, and we are the good one. We're supposed to be. Yeah, we're supposed to be the good one. So ultimately, we are going to have that within us. We are going to be righteous, and Esau is going to be cut off. Did you have other precept?
In 2nd Esdras 11 and 46 on down. Last part. 46. I think 46. 2nd Esdras 11 and 46. No, wait. 2nd Esdras 11 and 38. Start at 38. This talking about Esau. Read.
It's the 2nd Esdras, chapter 11, and verse 38. Hear thou, I will talk with thee, and the highest shall say unto thee, art not thou it that remainest of the four beasts, whom I made to reign in my world, that the end of their times might come through them?
Okay, stop and grab Daniel 7. So, what is the four beasts talking about? Break it down.
Yeah, man. The four beasts is speaking about the four rulerships, the four empires that have been set up. And Esau is that last beast that has to be destroyed in order for the kingdom of heaven to come. By measure did the Most High measure the times, and he measured it with certain rulers. And we're living in that fourth beast right now, that rulership of Esau.
Yeah, man, because the word world, eon, goes in time and rulership. The period of time that a nation has received from the Most High to rule. That's why it says, when shall be the end of the world? The end of Esau's world. That's what it's really referring to. And the world of Jacob to come, which is going to be the kingdom. Go to Daniel 7 and break down chapter 7 completely about the beasts. No, you don't have to grab it. You have to break it down.
Yeah. No, but he's going to read it.
Oh, yeah. because I saw you flipping the pages. Of course, I gotta go to my notes. Oh, the notes.
This is Daniel, chapter 7, and verse 1. In the first year of Belshazzar, the king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matter. Daniel,
So the king, he had a dream and he wrote it down and he wants to get the understanding of what he dreamt.
Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heaven strove upon the great sea. And the four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and man's heart was given to it.
Yeah, so this first beast, which is the lion, that's the Assyrian empire that rose up, you know, and the eagle wings that were plucked up, though that was because of the Persian empire that is going to come. They are going to take
Babylonian.
so like the Babylonian empire that plucked the wings off from this empire. Okay.
Verse 5, and behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it between the teeth of it. And they say thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh.
Yeah, so this second beast, which is the bear, that's the Persian empire, and it was taken down. The 3 ribs that you see, that's the taking down of Assyria. You know.
It's, the 3 ribs is referring to Lydia, Egypt, and Babylon.
So,
What the hell did you say? Then speak it, say it in the camera. Don't tell it, say it in the camera. What are the 3 ribs?
Oh, the 3 ribs are referring to Lydia, Egypt, and Babylon, because those were the basically the nations that the Medo-Persian Empire, took down during their conquest and their reign.
So what is it?
The 3 ribs: Lydia, Egypt, and Babylon.
And like the brother was going into the lion in the beginning, and then the Medo-Persian Empire was fighting Lydia, Egypt, and Babylon. So these were the 3 nations that were in the beginning at war with each other. And of course, then you had the influence of the Hamitic nations that we took down when we entered into the land of Israel. Because if you grab Exodus chapter 1, you see that Egypt is referring to his enemies that are round about. Now you had the kingdom of Cush, before it was referred to as the Babylonian kingdom, which was below Egypt, the Cushite empire. And when they went on their conquest to for control, the main area that was desired to have world domination was the Mesopotamian region, man. The Fertile Crescent. That's what people was at war for. That's the inheritance of Shem. So Ham wants the inheritance of Shem. Okay, Japheth wants the inheritance of Shem because Japheth was in Europe. Why the fuck he come to the Middle East for? Because that is the most fertile spot upon the planet Earth. Okay, so Egypt, read that. Egypt was referring to his enemies. Read.
This is Exodus. You had it?
This is Exodus chapter 1, verse 1. Now these are the names.
No, not 1 verse 1.
Verse 10.
Verse 10. Come on, let us deal wisely with them. Let's
Go to 9.
8. This is Exodus chapter 1, verse 8. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph.
Yeah, because Joseph was set up by a pharaoh, and the children of Israel were being taken care of because the pharaoh was had a good connection with Joseph. Because Joseph was the president over Egypt. You see, he was under the pharaoh. He was governor, president. He was under the Pharaoh, man. Go on. Just like how Daniel grew up under the king. There was no one above Daniel. Likewise, it was the same with Joseph. And Joseph received an inheritance in Egypt for the children of Israel, which was the land of Goshen. Okay, the region of Goshen, because Goshen is a city, and that region was given unto the children of Israel. But then a different Pharaoh came in instead that was not familiar with who Joseph now actually was, or why he should have respect unto Joseph. Go on.
And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we.
So politically, this Pharaoh is looking like, hey, this is absolutely not a wise thing for us to do. We let them multiply like crazy in our land, but if they become more than us, they might join with our enemies that are round about and overtake us. Okay, that's why Esau uses the technique to constantly call us the minority. Because if you think that you are the minority, you're going to believe that you are the minority. Meanwhile, the majority of the people in America are Latinos and so-called Negroes. So-called Latinos and so-called Negroes. Okay, today I saw a map.
I saw it too.
Yeah, I should have saved that one, man. Which showed the areas where the population is, which ethnicity is has the highest population in certain states of America. Then you saw in the east, in the western parts of America was predominantly the northern tribe, Hispanics, so-called Hispanics, and then on the eastern part of America, predominantly so-called Negroes, man. And then there was only one small part in the middle that was so-called Caucasian, and then the northern part was indigenous. So that means Native Americans. So we are the majority in America, man. You see, we are the majority, but Esau wants to make it look like we are not, so that he is not being taken down. You're not easily gonna take it down if you don't consider that you are in the majority. You see? So Egypt said, like, hey, they multiplying like crazy before they take us down together with our enemies. Hey, let's eradicate them, man. Go on.
Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land.
Yeah, man, because the threat of the Assyrian Empire was already there, and the threat of the Babylonian Empire, which later would be the Babylonian Empire, the Cushite people, was also there. So what happened was you had Egypt in the middle, and then you had the Assyrian Empire coming from the east to the west to attack Egypt, and then you had the Cushite Empire coming from the south to the north to attack Egypt. Now what happened was, first, Assyria took over Egypt and the Middle East, but then Cush pushed up, took over Egypt, and then also took over the Middle East, so Mesopotamia. And then it transitioned from Assyria, but then the Babylonian Empire took it over. So it was a transition.
A long struggle, hundreds of years, maybe 900 years or something. They've been fighting against each other.
Yeah, so it was a transition, man. The Assyrian Empire never really had complete domination because it was always the battle between Egypt, Assyria, and Babylon. So the line was set up. There was a moment in time that the Assyrian Empire had the dominant position, but then the Cushite Empire came and the Babylonian Empire was set up, and then the beast that looked like a lion with wings, the wings were taken off, meaning that valiant power was taken away from the Assyrian Empire, and the lion transformed into a man, which that man represents Nebuchadnezzar, which was the first ruler of the Babylonian Empire. You see? And then like I said, the Medo-Persian Empire came, which the Medes are Elam, or the Persians are Elam, which are the modern day Iranians, and Iraqis, I believe also Iraq and Iran. And then the Medes are Japhet. You see? So why the fuck does Elam come from the east? And why the hell does Japhet come from the north, Europe, to take a certain area in domination, which is Mesopotamia? Because that's where life started, man. That's where life started. East side of the Garden of Eden is Mesopotamia. You see? That's where also Abraham came from. Ur of the Chaldees. You see? And that's where Esau did his research that mankind first started. Because you know, in the history books, you find that mankind started in Africa, but then they found the site which is called Göbekli Tepe. Göbekli Tepe is ancient structures wherein they was describing the stars and the astronomy. You know, with their structures, they they carved out the scorpion. On top of the scorpion, they carved out an how you call this?
Vulture.
Vulture. Yeah. They carved out the vulture above the scorpion. They carved out the vulture, and then they carved out like some sort of flamingo. And then of course Esau was looking at it like, hey, this looks familiar. And then they put that picture up into the stars, and it lined up with the constellation. So they was already busy with the stars. So now Esau said like that we found this ancient site that dates back like 2000 BC, which is before the Egyptian Empire was set up. 2000 BC, it really just shows you the period after the flood, how mankind started to build up. And they called them the
Sumerians.
You might think about the Samaritans, but it's the Sumerians. Yeah, the Sumerians. Yeah, Sumer. Yeah, which was where? Mesopotamia. You see, where man started first. Now, the Turkish government is all like, they don't really want to let Esau do his digging, but because it's around Armenia, and it's close to Armenia, close to Turkey. Now, guess what? Where did the Ark of Noah land? Between Turkey and Armenia, which is Mount Ararat. And from there on out, you had Shem, Ham, and Japheth spread. Okay? So Esau took these carved out things and they put them in the sky, and now they said like, okay, so what we used to say that life started in Africa and all that stuff, basically we can just throw that shit out the window, because there was life found in Africa, but it was not intellectual like how it was in the Middle East, like with Shem, because they found these structures. So, you know, I'm just trying to put my whole story back together, because I go sometimes to add onto it. Yeah, wait with that. So that was Sumer, and they had this. Oh yeah. So now, when they dig into the records of these people, they speaking about a flood. They speak about the flood that came, and the people that survived that flood were chosen, and they were taken care of by a fish god, which we know as Dagon, because in the scriptures it refers to as Dagon, but they called him something else. Let me see.
It's funny that you mentioned the flood, because I was thinking about that, because every nation upon the earth has a similar story to that.
Exactly.
But it all originates to Noah, man. But the true understanding of what actually happened was given unto the Israelites.
Is that God they called Enki?
The word he is being called Dagon, but also Arotrios. The word Arotrios means both plowmen, and pertaining to agriculture. Exactly, because they said that this Dagon, which the Philistines also worshipped, Dagon, the fish god, he has a fish on his head. Let me show you. And get the record wherein the statue of Dagon, they stopped worshiping him.
Samuel.
So, yeah, because that's why also we disannul the power of these so-called Egyptian gods, right? These so-called Egyptian gods, we look at them like, okay, if the power of the Egyptian gods was here, where are they now then? Why is nobody worshiping the Egyptian gods up till this day? If they are so powerful, that faith or that belief should have remained. But guess what? Nobody is worshiping Amun-Ra. Nobody is worshiping Tut. Nobody is worshiping Horus. Those entities. Basically, they are entities, man. Okay, so this Dagon, look. This is Dagon. And this is also, like the brother states, is where the Mitri comes from. The Mitri that the Pope has on his head. So Dagon, that belief in Dagon dates back to the beginning of times after the flood. Because you have to think, the known world was covered with water. Now what God would be able to protect you from water? The God that comes out of the water, right? So that's what the people have set up, and they say that Dagon started to teach the people agriculture, how to set up crops and how to farm the land. So when they look at Gobekli Tepe, and also this other side, it sounds like it's also with Tepe in the end. They see that they learned how to farm the land, and their whole statement with that is that Dagon taught them this. You see? So yeah, man. And then when we go to the scriptures, we see Dagon is nothing. You see, Dagon is nothing in comparison with the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. The Heavenly Father is laughing at Dagon, man. Freaking the people that be worshiping Dagon got hemorrhoids. They got hemorrhoids, okay, and all kinds of shit, man. They got hemorrhoids and all kinds of shit, man. And the Most High marked the statue of Dagon. Read that.
This is 1 Samuel chapter 5, starting at verse 1. And the Philistines took the ark of the Most High and brought it from Ebenezer unto Ashdod. When the Philistines took the ark of the Most High, they brought it into the house of Dagon and set it by Dagon. And when they of Ashdod arose early on the morrow, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face to the earth.
Yeah. So the Ark of the Covenant was in possession of the Philistines. Okay? And they put the Ark of the Covenant in the temple of Dagon. Okay? Now, because the spirit, the heaviness of the Ark of the Covenant evolves around the Ark of the Covenant, that idol that was set up and of which was a graven image built, it fell down, man. Read on. And if you think that I'm over exaggerating about the power that evolved around the Ark of the Covenant, you have to think that only Levites was allowed to touch it. If you was of another tribe, you die on the spot, man. You die on the spot. Nobody touched this. Go on. Only the ones that are separated, which the Levites are separated. That's why the name of Laya means joined unto me. The Most High pulled Levi to himself, and the rest, okay, you go do your thing. Be carpenter, be a farmer, but these people, they will do my work. So don't even touch the Ark of the Covenant, right? Yeah.
And we had to give them also
the best meats, the best parts of the land, everything, man. They had to be taken care of, man. Because that's really what it is. You have to take care of the priests. Give me that in Micah. I always confuse Micah and Malachi. I think it's in Micah where it says Micah here, or in chapter 2 about ye have robbed the priests. Okay, read on.
And they took Dagon and set him in his place again.
Yeah, so when the worshippers of Dagon came, they was like, oh no, he fell down. So here it is. If this deity, if this so-called deity was a real power, a real God, you wouldn't have to set his statue back upright, man. But they was like, oh no, let us help you, God. He's no God, man. He needs to be set up straight again. Yeah.
This is Baruch chapter 6, or the epistle of Jeremiah, verse 27.
Malachi 3 and 9. Oh, no, wait. Malachi 3 and 8.
They also that serve them are ashamed. For if they fall to the ground any time, they cannot rise up again of themselves.
Yeah, if a statue, this account is speaking about why are you worshiping a statue? If it falls down, you are the one that has to pick it up again. Why are you worshiping it? That clearly shows that you have more power than that statue. Why are you picking it up? If it's so powerful, it's supposed to, get back right up out of itself, right? Read on.
Neither if one set them upright can they move of themselves. Neither if they be bowed down can they make themselves straight, but they set gifts before them as unto dead men.
Yeah, it's nothing. It holds no life in it. It's stone or wood, whatever. When you chop down wood, the life is out of it. You see, when you chop down a tree, there's no life in it no more. That's why Christmas is such a vain celebration, because Christmas goes back to, putting sacrifices under the tree for the tree. Because why do they put the pine? It's a pine tree, right? Mm-hmm. It's a pine tree. Why do they choose a pine tree? If you look at the trees over here right now, if you look at the trees right now, you see they are brown. The leaves are brown. The leaves are brown. You see? But guess what? A pine tree in the wintertime, it doesn't turn brown. It holds its green leaves. So it goes into the worshiping of a stock. It goes into the worshiping of wood, man. This pine tree. And I believe in the Dutch, they also have a song wherein they worship the tree. They say, oh pine tree, your branches are so beautiful. I've seen you in the forest. Yeah, so they sing, oh pine tree, your branches are so beautiful. I've seen you in the forest, and then there was no lights covering you. Oh pine tree, you are so beautiful. Something to that effect. Okay, so that's why the vanity of this Christmas is there, because they chop down the tree, the life is out of the tree, and they put it in the house and they cover it, they deck it as if to worship it. That's why in India, what do they do with the cows that they find holy? They deck the cows with all kind of gold and silver and costly raiment, because they worship the cow. You see? So the same thing goes for the pine tree. They chop it down, they put it in the house, they put sacrifices under it, presents. And then, back in the days, they bowed down to it. Now they lay presents under the tree, which makes no sense. Why do we put the presents under the tree? If it's not for the tree, if it's for the children, why does it have to be under the tree? Because it dates back to the time that sacrifices were laid under the tree. Just like how you put sacrifices under the altar. You lay sacrifices by the altar, which an altar is to worship a deity. You see? The same way they laid sacrifices under the pine tree, Christmas tree, whatever.
This day and age, they repackage, the worship of all these deities in a fun and attractive manner. Meanwhile, these people ignorantly worship, these idols, man. As the brother goes into with this tree, man, which dates back, decades,
Yeah, with the
thousands of years, man.
the town of Egypt also.
Yeah.
As you see in stones, they carved it. The gods were also in those trees. That's why when you have the people in Suriname, when they go and do their things, it's always with trees. They also put gifts and bracelets and stuff.
I saw that. Yeah, I
Put
saw
spears
that.
on those things.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and also, when they worship an entity there, they also put all these tokens on the trees.
Yeah.
They grab Jeremiah chapter 2.
Tokens as in,
Yeah, all kinds of things, man, which resemble themselves. There is this movie on Netflix that worship this entity, and that entity keeps them young. But then they get...
Mexico?
Huh?
The movie was about in Mexico.
No, it was not in Mexico. It was a strange, fucking fake movie,
Yeah.
man.
Oh.
But they worship an entity that lives in like this. No, it's not a cave. It's like a swamp.
Oh.
Like
Yeah,
in a
the wood.
swamp
Oh.
where and the wood covers
Yeah.
it.
Which? Yeah, which?
No.
Something like that.
But Blair Witch is a good example also because
Yeah,
that
with
is
the
this
bush.
entity also. And when you come there, everything is clean. The whole forest is clean. You ever seen Blair Witch?
Blair Witch Project.
The forest is cleaned the fuck out because the entity lives there. And what do you see when you come there? You see little tokens in the trees, hanging in the trees. You see? So that's where it all goes back to, man. It goes back to some crazy. You don't know what you're dealing with, man. So that's why the people, they are ignorant of what they are actually doing. They call Christmas an innocent child party and all this shit, but you must be out of your goddamn mind if you into that shit, man. Yo, hey, to my family members, if you invite me to a feast, where I can eat and I can fill up my belly, if I'm into it, I come, and I come and join your feast and eat your food, but not in worship to your whatever you think you're worshiping, man, or not worshiping. You think you're not worshiping it, but low-key you're doing it because you follow the customs of those worship, of that worship. But I can just easily eat your food. Just like when I go here to the Turk, or when I go to Ishmael, he sacrifices his before he slaughters the meat. He does his sacrifice unto it. He does his prayers. But I know his God doesn't exist, so I can just easily eat this food. I know it's nothing. But the scripture explains that you gotta watch out with that, because younger brothers might think like, oh, he goes and eat there where they sacrifice there, or where they do ritual slaughtering unto their God, so their God must be real. No, you gotta watch out with that. You gotta show these brothers that, hey, you don't worship that and it doesn't exist. So for conscience of the brothers. But before you go there, before you
I have perception of that, what you say, man, and what you say, not the way what other people do it.
yeah.
So, Jeremiah chapter 10, verse, hear ye the word which the Lord have Hashem Shai. Speak unto you, O house of Israel. Thus said the Lord, the house of Hashem Shai. Learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them.
Yeah, man, be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, because the heathen are dismayed at it. So whatever comes out of the heavens, or whatever happens in the heavens, even that, you shouldn't be dismayed at it. You shouldn't be shocked and, at all because of it, because it's just signs that the Most High shows that the kingdom is about to fall, or, that signs that the high holy day is about to come, or, the Most High has set up the bigger light and the lesser light in the sky for signs and seasons. But the heathen look at it and they start to worship it. That's why in Iran, you have an ancient custom which is called Zoroastrianism. Zoroastrianism, you can look it up, but I'm gonna explain a little bit. It goes into the worship of the sun. It goes into the worship of the sun, and how do they praise the sun in that worship? They take a branch. And they put it to the nose like this, and then they worship the sun. That's why the scripture says they put the branch to the nose. Branch to the nose. Which a lot of jakes break that down as if that shows that you are allowed to smoke weed. Yeah, you see, it says they put the branch to the nose. First and foremost, if it was talking about weed, it says here that it's wicked, that you shouldn't do it. So why you justify it? Yeah, back in the days they was doing it. It is explaining that it's not good to do it, but it's not talking about smoking weed. Putting the branch to the nose is talking about this branch that is being worshipped in Zoroastrianism, which that branch is a barsum plant, a barsum branch, barsum plant, which they put upon a stick. Look, ritual, implement, barsum. It's got, you see, so this is the branch that they look. And they put it upon these sticks with the crescent moon.
The sun and the moon worship.
You see, that's called a barsum plant, a barsum branch. Okay, which this barsum branch is being used to do in Zoroastrianism. You see? So here it says, why were priests of Zoroaster so well known for performing magic? So when it says they put the branch to the nose, it's talking about Zoroastrianism. So that's also a belief, or a philosophy, whatever you want to call it, that dates back thousands of years ago, wherein which Israel started following, because it was all over there, in the Middle East, where Jake dwelt, and where these nations came up, Iranians, okay, which is the Persian Empire. And what else did they start to worship? Dagon, which were the Canaanite gods. And then you had the Egyptian gods that they was worshiping also. And the Egyptian gods are similar to the gods of Cush. There's a whole documentary on Netflix that you can watch concerning the gods of Cush and the gods of Egypt. They say they are similar. There are only a few gods that are different in the Cush, amongst the Cushites. You have a Cushite woman breaking the whole thing down, man, for you. You only have to look. You only have to sit down and watch it, and they explain the whole thing to you. And then you grab the scriptures and you look at the documentary and you be like, hey, you understand. Because you have to understand that the scriptures gives us an insight of what was happening with us and around us. But there was different things going on in different places in the world. So in order for you to expand your knowledge, you must look at certain historical documents and things that took place and line it up with the scriptures. That is called secular history, man.
It's just like what the brother is saying, you have the same gods going back decades, and even Wiki shows you that. Like Ishtar, for example. If you look up Ishtar on Wiki, then you see all the different names that she has, that deity has in all different empires, and now they call it Easter, but it dates back to Ishtar, which you can read in the Bible, that they were cooking, baking bread for her, that Queen of Heaven spirit, you see. And also the Star of Rephaim, for example, they have that on these Jewish mosques.
Star of David.
Yeah, the Star of David. They call it the Star of David, but it's the Star of Rephaim, which is also a entity, which our people did worship. So all these things, if you go deep enough, then you will find that it leads to the scriptures.
Look,
This is where I want to go on.
here it says Zoroastrians are not fire worshippers, as some Westerners wrongly believe. Zoroastrians believe that the elements are pure and that fire represents God's light or wisdom. So they still look at an element. They still look at, of course, it's being broken down like that. They look at fire as this is God, but everything is of God. Everything is of the Most High. You see? But they look at the fire and they call that holy. They don't necessarily say that the fire is God, but they call that holy. Why would that be holy? You see? It's just something that the Most High has created. Now, the same thing is with the Muslims. They bow down to the stone because they say the stone is holy, because it came from space. That's why Jeremiah chapter 10 says, learn not the ways of the heathen and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. So what happened is they say this meteorite came from heaven, and they started worshiping it. They built a whole temple around it. You see? That is being dismayed at things that come from heaven. And that's why in Leviticus it says that you shall not bow down to things that come from the heavens or the things that are upon the earth.
And the water also.
Yeah, or in the water.
Can I say something concerning what they worship in the Middle East? When you have the Kaaba, at one of the corners, that's where that stone is being placed. But if you look at it, it looks like a vagina. It looks like basically like the vulva, man.
Yeah, I remember that.
So what does that go back to? It's silver with the black stone in there.
Yeah.
What's that?
So let me read Ezekiel chapter 8, wherein it shows you that Jake was busy with Zoroastrianism. Man. So it says, Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 16, and he brought me into the inner court of the Lord's house, and behold, at the door of the temple of the Most High, Yahweh, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men, with their backs toward the temple of the Lord, Yahweh, and their faces towards the east. And they worshiped the sun towards the east, which, like I said, Zoroastrianism goes into the worshiping of the sun because sun is fire, you see? So they point towards the sun, and then they grab the branch, which is the barsum plant or the barsum branch, which has everything to do with Zoroastrianism, and then they aim towards the sun. So here it says, verse 17, then he said unto me, hast thou seen this, O son of man? Is it a light thing to the house of Judah that they commit the abominations which they commit here? For they have filled the land with violence and have returned to provoke me to anger, and lo, they put the branch to their nose. Therefore will I also deal in fury, mine eye shall not spare, neither will I have pity, and though they cry in mine ears with a loud voice, yet will I not hear them. So when we go into the Hebrew of the word branch, it says Zamawara, which sounds a little bit similar to Zoroaster, So it says Zamawara, it says vine, branch, slip, a twig. Then it says branch or twig used in idolatrous worship of a strange god. Figurative of idolatrous cults adopted by Israel. You see that? It says here, vine branch in the Slakia. I have to explain, of course, what I'm clicking on, because I advise everyone that learns from GMS to use the Blue Letter Bible and to, expand your edification. You go to the Hebrew Chaldee lexicon. You tap, and there you see basically the explanation, which is the research that you have to do in order to understand what it is talking about sometimes, man. So it says here, Zamarara, vine, branch, or twig. It says generally a branch or shoot And lo, they put the branch to their nose, referring to the Persian custom of worshipping the rising sun, holding in their left hand a bundle of twigs of the plant called balsam. There you have it. They, you know, it's a part of the research that you find here, and from there on, you can dig deeper. I did a whole lesson about this, man. Think 45-minute lesson where I go into it. And the funny thing is, when you do mad research, go deep into it,
2 views.
you get a few views. But when you make a 10 minutes video, 200 views. But it is what it is, man. You know, it's a part of this truth and understanding where Israel came from, man. All of these things was going on, you know, when Noah landed with the ark with his sons, and you know the people started to multiply again. The people also started to you know, create gods for themselves. You see, and Jacob wasn't yet there. Jacob wasn't yet there, man, until Abraham came, and then Abraham was called the friend of the Most High. Started to walk with the Most High again, because the father of Abraham, he was worshiping idols too. Terah. He was worshiping idols too, because why? He was amongst those people which are called the Chaldeans, man, and the Sumars and these Canaanites, man. He was among them, because Canaan was in the Middle East. Meanwhile, it is the inheritance of Shem. That's why the Most High said, hey, I promised Abraham, this is the lot of your inheritance. Give me that, Psalms 105. Yep.
It's crazy. Shalom, Makiam, into this. This is Psalms 105, verse 8. He had remembered his covenant forever, the word which he commanded to 1,000 generations, which covenant he made with Abraham, and his oath unto Isaac, and confirmed the same unto Jacob for a law, and to Israel for an everlasting covenant, saying, unto thee will I give the land of Canaan, the lot of your inheritance.
See that? So the land of Canaan is the lot of our inheritance. So when Canaan walked around there, we wasn't yet a nation. We was still, you know, within Abraham. Then Isaac came, then Jacob came, and then we grew as a nation. And then the Moses said, okay, now it's time. Go into the land to possess it. This is your land. It's not given unto Canaan. Get out of here. Canaan was even kicked out of the land of Edom. Because the land of Edom, he was also there. Canaan was also in the land of Edom. So when you look at Mount Seir, Esau didn't build that shit. Esau went into it.
Oh,
Mount Seir wasn't their land. Esau came in there. Because when we grew up, Esau grew up also.
everybody will say already.
So we wasn't yet a nation, but Esau wasn't yet a nation neither. Canaan was already there.
Yeah,
You see?
yeah, and he made it already.
We are-
take the land.
That's why it says we are the last of the nations.
Yeah.
We are the last nation that came. Because Esau was born before us, then we came after us. No other nation was being set up. You see? So yeah, man.
Now we get it. This thing that is, we always talking about that Esau was live in the cave. So he point the cave right here, but Esau find it. He don't build that, and now he said that's what you see nowadays in America have the same.
The pillars.
Yeah, and what you say they make that.
But Esau steals everything. Esau has no salt. So the Hamites, so these Hamites, they built structures. That's why the gates were so tall of Petra. Let me show you. Petra is the original habitation of Esau, but he didn't build it. Canaanites built it. That's why the doors is so tall, because they were freaking huge.
Yeah, man. That you can't build that, man. And that thing you see all the time.
What this?
You see? Oh, okay. Yeah, no.
Also something interesting to get into, man. Look, this is Petra, you know, which is the capital city of Basra is the capital city. So this is Petra, which is in Jordania, which is basically the land of Edom. But look how small the people are in comparison to the entrance, because the people that used to live there were freaking giant ass people, man. Not giants as in, fucking titans. No, tall ass people, man. Tall people, and they still here, man. There's a bunch of Hamites that walk past by the camp here sometimes.
Yeah,
Man, I'm like 185, and I look to them like this. They may be 220, something like that.
Just like a
Tall,
basketball.
tall ass motherfuckers. Hamites, skinny as hell, running, running for miles. Running for miles, man. That's why if you look at the Olympic place, they are the ones that are able to run for so long. But we Jakes, we have more muscle mass, so we sprint fast, but not for a long duration, because we have our muscle mass is too much, and they have no muscle mass. They just bones running.
Okay, wait up before you
Of
go.
course, they have muscle mass.
Yeah, before it's okay, but that's what you see in Africa. You have the tall guys. Look like Sudan.
Yeah, the Sudanese.
Tall like shit. And that people used to be that what do you call it?
Petra.
Yeah.
No, but the Sudanese are
No,
Egyptians.
not exactly people,
Oh, yeah,
but the people who is tall like that, look back there.
Yeah.
This guy is
Yeah, man.
even taller than him.
The people of Anak. Anak,
Yeah.
it's also written in the scriptures. It's called, which Anak means long neck, or it means neck. I believe it only means neck or long neck. But these are the people that put rings around their neck, because their fetish is females with long necks.
But when they take off those bars, they don't have any strength. And they break their necks. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
They break their necks.
I don't know if you lose it like weak. I
It
don't know.
is,
man.
it is.
Yeah?
Because the muscle ain't being used. So if you're sick, you lay on your bed, the muscles ain't being used. The time that you try to stand up from your bed, you have no strength in your legs because they're not being used. If you break your arm,
I understand that. I
Muscle
understand that. But you mean the muscle that don't move a lot? It does hold the thing that hold it in your hand, and the muscle be like, oh, let me relax, and then it goes, okay. Then when you take it down, you be like, oh shit, I have no power to live here. Yeah, you know. I understand that.
and every time that they can grow a little bit, they put a new ring.
Oh yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah. Look,
Sure.
But these people,
they put new rings to make their neck longer.
they've
Same thing with the
shrunken
jump,
them.
man.
They've shrunken them
Hey, same thing with the jump.
because they used to be giant people.
No, they still long as hell.
Hey, look, same
Yeah.
thing with the jump. When the man keep jump, he crash.
Like this.
Yeah, from that to, and he keep doing that.
Must be fake.
Yeah, sowieso.
Impossible, man.
That's fake. That's fake.
Impossible.
Yeah, of course.
Well,
So yeah, man.
the scripture speak about that. Okay?
So when we go into the beast in Daniel chapter 7, we read about the Assyrian Empire transitioning into the Babylonian Empire, but there was a lot of things going on then, man. There was a lot of things going on back then. You see? That you can do a lot of research about, man. You know? Like Apostle Tahar always says, we got to be like historians, man. You got to be a historian if you are in this truth. You know? Dig deep. Look at the world and be like, okay,
Understand.
you can look at the world right now and think you know everything, but there's a lot of things that happened back in the days that you, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, can dig into it, and then all the pieces of the puzzles fit perfectly within each other, man, because you have the understanding of the scriptures. You see? Most I can guide you into that, man. So go on with Daniel. Oh, we had the Dagon. Yeah, that's the Dagon
I have Jeremiah.
scripture has to be finished.
It was,
He fell on his face because the Ark of the Covenant was there in the temple.
This is 1 Samuel, chapter 5, And verse 4, and when they arose early on the morrow morning, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face to the ground before the ark of the Lord Yahweh. And the head of Dagon and both the palms of his hands were cut off upon the threshold. Only the stump of Dagon was left to him.
Yeah, man. So the only part that was left was his legs that were still standing, or the stump he was placed upon.
Only the stump of Dagon was left. So his head fell off and his arms. So only basically this part was left. You know, the next day after they set it back up in his place.
Yeah.
To show him like your power is basically nothing.
Yeah, go on.
Verse 5, therefore, neither the priests of Dagon nor any that come into Dagon's house tread on the threshold of Dagon and Ashdod until this day.
Yeah, man. They was like, man, close the temple, man. Dagon is not able to withstand the power of Israel, man. Because if you go into the history, if you go into, for example, Nebuchadnezzar, if you go into Cyrus the Mede, they acknowledged the power of Israel, man. They acknowledged the Heavenly Father Yahweh. They say Yahweh, the power of Israel. That doesn't mean that they believe in Israel. They believe in monotheism, which monotheism is the belief that there are multiple gods. So they believe in their God, but if you come and say, hey, I've worshipped this God, they'll be like, oh yeah, okay, interesting, man. They believe that God also exists. But if you come to us, which we do, no, monotheism, mono is one.
Yeah, exactly.
Slakia. I made a mistake. Monotheism is one, the worshipping of one God. Mono means one. But polytheism is many, worshipping of many gods. So we being worshippers of one God, if you come to us with many gods, we'd be like, get out of here, man. But if we come to you while you are worshiping many gods, or you believe in many gods, and I come with my God and I say, yeah, I worship this God, they don't have a problem with it because they believe in many gods anyway. And they believe the one is stronger than the other. So when they found out that the Ark of the Covenant smashed down, the power of the Most High smashed down the statue of Dagon, they was like, okay, Dagon is not able to,
He's done for it.
he's not able to stand against the power that the Israelites worship. You see? And that is all. Huh?
You say the Ark of Covenant?
The Ark of the Covenant.
It's not
The Ark of the Covenant was in the temple of Dagon.
Oh, okay.
And then the statue fall over and it break.
Yeah.
The statue break.
Yeah.
You see? So then they closed the temple. They said, you know what? Let's just stop worshiping this.
You have the account of Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah, read that.
This is Daniel chapter 4, starting in verse 34. And at the end of the days, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lift up mine eyes unto heaven, and my understanding returned unto me, and I blessed the Most High, and I praised and honored him that liveth forever, whose dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom is from generation to generation, and all the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing, and he doth according to his will in the army of heaven, and among the inhabitants of the earth, and none can stay his hand or say unto him, what doest thou? At the same time my reason returned unto me, and for the glory of my kingdom, mine honor, my brightness returned unto me, and my counselors and my lords sought unto me, and I was established in my kingdom, and excellent majesty was added unto me. Now I,
this was after that he turned into a beast, right?
Yeah.
So he got humbled by the Most High, and he turned into a beast because he was full of pride, man. The Most High humbled his ass down and said, like, listen, man, you only have what you got because of me. You see? And that goes for all these nations, man. That goes for the Cushites, which is Ethiopians and the Somalians. That goes for the Iranians. That goes for the Edomites. Whoever had his rulership, it's all because of the Most High. That's why Yahushua told, what is this guy's name? He told,
you have no power,
Herod.
but yeah.
what is this guy's name?
Herod, right?
No, not Herod. He told Wow, how could I forget his name? With the P.
Pontius Pilate.
Pontius Pilate. He told the motherfucking Pontius, who is not a pilot, but he told Pontius Pilate, you only got power because my father gave you this power. That's the only thing you got. But guess what? The nations became very proud because they got power. You see, especially Esau, man. Because if you see here, Nebuchadnezzar, he was like, yeah, I got my power from the Most High. You see, meanwhile, he was still worshiping other gods, but he was referencing to the Most High, like, yeah, I understand. I humble myself. You see? So they believed in multiple gods. Let me verify if the
I think it was Pan. You have Pandora,
no,
right?
you have Pantheon. Pantheon is all gods.
Okay.
But polytheism,
The Pantheon is also like a place, like a building, like a.
it says, polytheism. Yeah, he was right. Polytheism, the belief in or worship of more than one god. You see, polytheism. What are three types of polytheism? Greco-Roman religion, which in Greco-Roman religion you got Zeus, you got Hercules, you got Aphrodite, you got what is this other bitch called?
We don't even know. Rhea?
No. Fuck it.
Artemis?
Artemis is also, I believe that's Roman. Artemis is this space god that they believe in. Artemis, but you have Athena. Athena. Athena.
Represents wisdom, I believe.
Yeah, man. And think about it. These Greco-Roman gods also go back to the Egyptian gods, which the Egyptian gods line up with the Babylonian gods. So because within the Egyptian god worship, they also had the god of wisdom, Tut, the god of the sun. You know, which in Greco-Roman religion, the god of the sun is who? Apollos, right? Apollos. And then in the Roman religion, they believe in that the planets are gods. Also Jupiter, Mars, which Mars is the Greek, is the Roman form of Ares, which is the god of war, which is the son of Zeus, which they refer to as Mars. You know.
You can read about that also in the New Testament, right? That they were worshiping.
Which that's my third name. That's why I'm Tasaba, which means war. And I didn't even know that. I got the name Tasaba, and then later on I found out my third name means God of War. And I didn't know. I chose to be called Tasaba, which means war. And then I found out my third name means God of War, and I didn't know that. Yeah, man.
What is the third?
In Hebrew,
You say
it goes back,
Oh.
because it's not Hebrew. But my third name is Martinez, which goes back to Mars, which Mars is the god of war. They refer to it as the god of war. So when you see Martinez Hernandez, don't play around with this dude, because his name, Martinez is god of war, man. Anyway,
Malachma, right? The
Malachma, Malachma also goes
to war and
into warfare. Yeah. Tasaba goes into warfare. Oh yeah, man, go on.
This is Daniel 4, verse 37. Now I, Nebuchadnezzar,
Or Malachma or Malkama. Yeah.
praise and extol and honor the King of heaven, all whose works are truth, and his ways judgment, and those that walk in pride he is able to abase.
Yeah, break it down.
So here Nebuchadnezzar is acknowledging the power and truth of the Heavenly Father, after he was being abased himself because of his pride.
the precepts that you ordered. Jeremiah and Malachi.
Yeah, grab Jeremiah first. Jeremiah chapter 2.
This is Jeremiah 2, verse 27. Jeremiah 2, verse 27. Saying to a stock, thou art my father, and to a stone, thou hast brought me forth. For they have turned their back unto me, and not their face. But in the time of their trouble, they will say, arise and save us.
Yeah, man. So this is the wickedness of Jake. Here it is. Jake goes and worship all kinds of things, man. Here it is. Jake goes and worship a fucking tree. Or Jake goes to the groves. Okay? Which if you look up the word grove, the grove that they worship, if you look up the word grove in accounts wherein Jake went there and worshipped, it goes into Ashtaroth, which means, let me go into it. Anyway, they worship the stock, which is wood, and they worship stone. Okay, which they do it nowadays also by bowing down to this Kaaba stone. And I don't say Kaaba, I say Kaaba. With the disrespect, I say it wrong for you, especially for you.
Also the Christian cross.
The Christian cross, exactly. It's wood, man.
Wood. Like
and sometimes it's stone also. I had a stone cross back in the days.
Also because
I got it for my communion.
The Catholic have it.
Communion is like communion. Which you turn 13 or something, right?
Yeah.
Catholics have it cross. So the Catholic have a cross. You have wood, so
I received a stone cross back in the days, and I sometimes I put it under my pillow. I put it under my pillow because I had crazy nightmares. I put it under my pillow, and when I had the nightmares, I'd say, Jesus, this, that. But the demons went away though. The demons went away. But Yaratazar, that was because the Most High already was looking at me like, you don't know yet. You don't know yet, but I'm gonna take care of you. Huh? You're getting there.
The Most High be like, no, maybe not.
Yeah. And then I went on my knees and I started praying, and I held the cross in my hand, and then I prayed, and I was like, I don't know, man. And then I put away the cross, and I started praying, and I said, I don't know which God I have to worship or which God I have to pray to. So I was basically praying to the unknown God. For me, it was unknown. So I prayed, give me the truth, and reveal yourself unto me so I know who to worship, which God I have to worship, and make me a warrior, make me a soldier to fight against evil in this world. That was my prayer, man. And then the Most High, 1 month later, the Most High gave me the truth. A brother just said like, hey, just watch GMS, Elders of GMS, man. Or go to GMS on Street 21. That was back in 2014. Was it? Yeah, 2014.
Yeah.
So I checked it out and I was like, oh, damn. And that's when the Isaiah scripture came, you shall hear a voice behind thee. This is the truth. This is the way, walk ye in it. And from that day on, I didn't leave, man. So that's how the Most High works, man. It's powerful. So read on.
Let me start one verse above. This is Jeremiah 3, verse 26. As the thief is ashamed when he is found, so is the house of Israel ashamed. They, their kings, their princes, and their priests, and their prophets, saying to a stock, thou art my father, and to a stone, thou hast brought me forth. For they have turned their back unto me, and not their face. But in the time of their trouble, they will say, arise and save us. But where are thy gods that thou hast made thee? Let them arise. Let they, if they can see. Let me read again. Cool. Yeah. Jeremiah 2, verse 28. But where are thy gods that thou hast made thee? Let them arise, if they can save thee in the time of trouble. For according to the number of thy cities are thy gods, O Judah.
Yeah, break it down.
Yeah, man. So the house of Israel, they were worshiping so many gods, just like how many cities they have. That's how much gods they were worshiping, you know. And the Most High said, so the Most High is actually asking a rhetorical question, you know. Let them save you. You know, you worship them, so let them save you.
Yeah, why you come and pray to me now all of a sudden? You was all busy working hard to please this entity or this idol that doesn't even exist. You was all working your ass off to please this idol. Now you're getting now you're getting destroyed. Now you want to come to me.
He asked if you want some shit. Yeah. He asked if you want some shit.
Is that in a home swat? Home swat. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So
Yeah. We was talking about. Shit. Let me go back in the way.
no. You don't have to go back. Yeah, so they was worshiping all kinds of things, and yeah, the moment they get destroyed, then they want to be like, oh no, let's go, you know, to the Most High. The same thing goes with people in South America. You know, they be worshiping idols, they be doing witchcraft, voodoo, and all kinds of things. But then when someone catches crazy illness, someone gets cancer or whatever, now they want to pray to God. The same thing goes for the Jamaicans. They be all about Rastafari. They say Rastafari. They say Selassie. They have the book of Rastafari. They say this is the book Rastafari. Cancer. Please God. You know, then all of a sudden, then you want to go to God. Meanwhile, God is a title, it's not his name. So they're still not in the right direction. But you know, then they leave their other ways. That's the same thing that Israel did back in the days, man. Worshipping Semiramis. Semiramis. Samara. I always fuck up that name, man. So Semiramis. Worshipping gods of Egypt, worshipping Dagon, worshipping whatever, man. Worshipping Astaroth, which that's what we're gonna go into now. So, yeah, give me you want the Isaiah 17, start at 7.
I want to say because the funny is when they was going party or something, let's say the bad guy was shooting around, and then the next day Sunday they're going to church.
Go to church.
That's one way to give me
Finish. And the next week it happens again. Yeah.
Even a woman was after the party, she took all the water, the next day going to church. Praise the Lord.
That's right, man. Isaiah says, yeah. Happy scriptures. Nee?
No.
Isaiah 17, verse 7.
This is Isaiah chapter 17, starting at verse 7. At that day shall a man look to his maker, and his eyes shall have respect to the Holy One of Israel.
Yeah, man. So the Most High is gonna let it come to pass that the children of Israel ain't gonna go into all kinds of nonsense no more, man. The eyes of the children of Israel is gonna be towards their maker, which is the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and His Son, Yahweh Shai. Okay, no more bullshit going on, man. The Most High is gonna put Israel straight, and everyone is gonna worship the Lord, you know. And it's not gonna be hard for nobody. It's gonna be implemented in their mind. They're gonna be instructed in righteousness. Okay, go on.
Can you say something?
Yeah.
Because right now they be like, you know, all over the place. But once they see Yahweh Shai coming back, then they're gonna realize like, hey, in the day of the power of Yahweh Shai, then they're gonna be willing to serve Yahweh Shai, man.
What does it? And then go tell him. What does it matter what color he is? Go and say that at that time. If you don't mind what color he has, or if you say that doesn't matter, then why are you making a problem out of it? Our main statement is not that Yahweh Shai is a dark-skinned man. That's not our main statement. That is just showing you that the lie that has been told to you for years has to be put straight, man. You see? It's the same as, you know, when you hear someone tell a story of what, let's say Quatazap is telling a story about what me and him went through. So he's telling Naka the story. Yo, I was with us about, and then we went there and there and there, and then we met the guy, and the guy had a blue sweater. I said, hey, no, he had a red sweater on. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. He had a red sweater on. I just correct his mistake, man. So the mistake, lie, and deceit that they have done and they have put in the world, we just put it straight. You shouldn't have no problem with that. Especially if you say you believe in the scriptures and the scripture says he's a dark-skinned man. What is your problem? He has white, woolly hair. Now, which people upon the planet Earth have woolly hair? Ask yourself.
This is Isaiah chapter 17, verse 8. And he should not look to the altars, the work of his hands, neither shall respect that which his fingers have made, neither the groves or the images. In that,
So Israel is not gonna look towards the groves and the images and the idols no more. So when you look up the word grove in the Hebrew, it says Asherah. So then it says Asherah, groves for idol worship, a Babylonian Astarte, Canaanite goddess, the supposed consort of Baal, her images. So when you look up Astarte, it says it goes into the god of fertility, Asherah. It's like, let me look up Asherah. It says Asherah, along with Astarte and Anat, was one of the three great goddesses of the Canaanite pantheon. In Canaanite religion, her primary role was that of mother goddess, associated Asherah with sacred trees, an association also found in the Israelite tradition. You see? And then there's a tablet found wherein they said Asherah is the wife of the Most High. Asherah, wife of God. There's a tablet that they found wherein Israel was saying these things, man. Satan. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Because if you go, I can't find it right now, but I did a video on it also. And you can dig into the word Anat, Asherah, and Astarte. You can dig into these words, and you get more research on it. And then it also says the main demon next to Satan. Just like how Michael, the archangel, is the highest angel next to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That same way, Asherah is the main demon next to Satan, like his primary. Yeah.
Just like how Michael, the archangel.
Yeah, like Satan is just like that. Just like that.
Yeah, so there was a tablet found wherein Israel said that God's wife is Asherah. But I can't find the tablet right now. But that also goes into the worship of the Queen of Heaven. Okay, which is also written in Ezekiel. Go to Jeremiah chapter 7, verse 18, which we just read that the worship of Asherah was by honoring trees and bowing down to trees, which is that stock, which is that wood that they go down to. And that's why instead of the word Asherah, it says grove, because what is a grove? A place where trees are gathered.
This is Jeremiah 7, verse 17. Seest thou not what they do in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem? The children gather wood, and the fathers kindle the fire, and the women knead their dough to make cakes to the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto other gods, that they may provoke me to anger.
Yeah, man. So think about it, man. You wonder why the Most High speaks. Give me Revelation. No, give me Ezekiel chapter 2 and grab the last verse. You wonder why they say, man, the power, the God of heaven, and the things that are written in the scriptures are violent, man. You wonder why that is. Now you gotta look into the history. Think about it. Let's say you are a God and you see the people going after all kinds of madness. Meanwhile, you right there. Let me put it different. You have a child. You have children. Let's say you have 3 children. What, you want 4 children? Let's say you have 4 children.
2 more.
No. Let's say you have 3 children. And you put strict rules out there. But they disobey your rules right in front of you. You be like, what? You provoke me to anger, boy. You better lay down that shit or whatever you think you're doing. You see? You will get angry. Here it is. The Most High is our Father. He tells us not to do certain things. We do it right in front of his face. We do it in the temple. Like we just read in Ezekiel chapter 8, the Most High said, look to the east of Jerusalem and look at the temple. So Ezekiel received a vision of the Most High and he saw the people. So what did they do? They turned their back towards the temple and they start worshiping Zoroaster. They start worshiping the sun. You see? Judas, a dude calls himself Judas Iscariot.
Back again?
And then he says murderer. But I already know who it is. Go on.
Can we say something?
Yeah.
Also with the baking of cakes, here in Holland, you always have this Easter bread, that they make in a certain period. In this period of time when they have the Easter
Spicy.
Yeah. So that's also what's being. There's no new thing under the sun, That's what they keep doing.
And then they say, but Easter is in the Bible. Yeah, but Easter in the Bible is the Passover. And in the Passover, no. Pentecost means 50, which Pentecost means 50 in the Hebrew, which is 50 days after the Pesach. It's gonna be the day of Pentecost, which is also the feast of the first fruits, if I'm correct. When you harvest the first things. So yeah, man. Let me go on. Strange idol worship that the children of Israel did. That's why go to Leviticus 17 or 18. 17 or 18, verse 1. Start at verse 1.
I had it just now with the when you go into the land of Canaan, right?
Yeah, man. The Most High. This is how you see the Most High is. He already knew. Like, let me just say it. Otherwise, they're gonna say, "Yeah, but you never said that." This is how the children of Israel are. That's why the scriptures also repeats itself continually. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Hey, children of Israel, remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. You be like, why so many times? The Most High does it on purpose. Otherwise, if it only says it one time, remember the Sabbath to keep it holy, then the children of Israel will be like, yeah, but it only says it one time. So it's probably not that important, right? It only says it one time. So the Most High be like, you know what? Let me put this a couple of times in the scriptures. In Exodus, Deuteronomy, Leviticus, multiple times. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. So you also got to call out the Sabbath. And you got to remember the Sabbath. You can't go through the week and be like, oh, like a chicken without a head, not focusing on when the Sabbath is coming in, man. You got to be well aware of when the Sabbath comes in. Grab that scripture. It says, blow you the trumpet on the days of the new moon in the Psalms. Or shall I grab it on my phone? That's why it also says this. Slakia. Yeah. Too bad. Too bad, demon. Trying to call me, but my phone is not being used. You see? My phone is right here. You can call all you want, but it's not gonna affect the teachings. Demon. So it says Psalms chapter 81, verse 3. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed, on our solemn feast day. So what does the blowing of the trumpet represent? You need to call it out. You need to warn the people. Sabbath came in.
Even we have to do that. So when it's down, we always say Shabbat Shalom.
You say Sabbath Shalom to
Yeah.
announce.
Sometimes when he says Shabbat Shalom, then you have your phone, you be like, oh shit, the Shabbat, I forgot the Shabbat, gonna stay Shabbat Shalom. Then we go back, we should do it,
Exactly. Yeah, man.
That's
So now you warned, you be like, oh, I forgot that the Sabbath was, but the Brotherhood warns you of that, hey, now the Sabbath has started. You see?
Sometimes I forgot the Shabbat, and we see it there.
Yeah, because back in the days, you had Israelites that would stand up on the watch and they would look when the sun is down, and then they would blow the trumpet and announce that the Sabbath has started. You see, so that everyone would know. Because the people be saying, you have Israelite camps out there that say, no, the Sabbath starts when it's dark. No, that's when the sun is already down.
Yeah, but it's also, we have also, when the bird, when the sun down, the bird keep flying and tell you, they show you the sign, which is the sun down now.
Exactly.
The bird making a lot, what is it, they be around, before they go in the tree. First of all, they fly around till you know the sign there, hey, the sun down now.
Yeah. So the birds start to fly. When the sun is about to go down, they do their last round. They fly and they all go to the tree.
The tree.
And in the morning, when the sun comes up, what do birds do? They start singing.
Yeah.
They start singing. So what birds do, they sing unto the Most High when the sun comes up. They already start singing unto the Most High, which is their, you can look at it as their prayers. That's why the scripture also says that we supposed to prevent the sun by giving praise unto the Most High. You can grab that. Sirach 26 or something. So that's Shalom. That's what the birds be doing, man. So there's a lot of science out there. So the Most High repeats things. That was my point. The Most High repeats things over and over again because Jake is stubborn, man. Now in this case, in Leviticus chapter 18, the Most High said, when you go into the land, this is what you're gonna have to do and have to deal with. You see, this is what you're gonna have to deal with, man. And you better do it accordingly, otherwise I will have to deal with you, man. Warning, you either hear or you forbear. If you don't listen, the consequences are yours. You see?
Actually, something funny. Certain nations, he allowed us to keep there, to test whether we're going to serve the Most High or go into the ways of the heathens. Most High is funny, man.
This is Leviticus 18, verse 1. And the Lord...
And that's what the Most High does more often also, with us. The Most High puts you in a certain situation, what you going to do? Righteous or wicked? You see?
You're going to use the wisdom, knowledge, understanding that you will.
That's why it says the hour of temptation. The Most High puts you in a position, what you going to do? What you going to do in the hour of temptation? Go on.
It's Leviticus 18, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, I am the Lord your power. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, shall ye not do, neither shall you walk in their ordinances.
Yeah, so the Most High, he said, okay, I took you out of Egypt. Let me make a quick statement. Stop worshiping these gods, because you had Jake that was into the customs of the Egyptians, man. Worshiping all these gods that I believe they have more than 1,000 gods, man, Egyptians. You see? Stop doing that. And on top of that, I'm gonna bring you into a country that I will make yours. But there's a bunch of people over there, Canaanites, they are called Canaanites, which they worship all kinds of strange gods also. I don't want you to worship them neither. You see? Jump to verse 26.
It's already reading there. This is verse 26, Leviticus 18, verse 26. Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, and shall not commit any of these abominations, neither any of your own nation, nor any stranger that sojourneth among you. For all these abominations have the men of the land done, which were before you, and the land is defiled.
You see that? So the Moses says, like, don't do these abominations that I just mentioned, because the people that are kicked out of this land and basically with judgment punished, they did it. So make sure you don't do the same, man. Because if you do the same, wrath is gonna come down upon you. What does Israel do? They still worship these idols and false gods. And then when they get smashed, then they want to turn back to the Most High. The Most High be like, oh, really? Because Israel really, they knew the Most High is the one that does everything. But I can worship an entity here and there, right? To get a little bit of power, to get a little bit of protection or riches. You see? But then you're on the side of Satan, man. If you are busy with that, worshiping entities for riches, you're on the side of Satan, man. Because Yahushua, give me Matthew chapter 4. Who is allowed to give you riches in this place, man? It's Satan. Just worship him and see where you're going to get. You go sit in high places, man. You see? That's why you see these celebrities, they all put praises towards Satan, putting up the 666, putting up the Baphomet, doing stuff like this, doing the 666, and more subliminal, more subliminal hand signs and gestures. Yeah. Go on. What are you looking for? Matthew chapter 4, just start at 1.
Okay. This is Matthew 4, verse 1. Then was Yahushua led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward a-hungered. And when the tempter came to him, he said, If thou be the Son of God, command that these stones be made bread. But he answered and said, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High.
So Yahushua was fasting, and after the fasting, Yahushua was hungry, but Satan was right at the doorstep to tempt him. And you know, how did Yahushua defend himself against the words of Satan? By the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the scriptures. Behold, man shall not live by bread alone. Go on.
Verse 5. Then the devil taketh him up into the holy city, and setteth him on the pinnacle of the temple, and said unto him, If thou be the Son of the Most High, cast thyself down, for it is written, He shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against a stone. Yahushua said unto him, it is written again, thou shalt not tempt the Most High, thy power.
So Satan, he knows the scriptures too, man. Satan says it is written, but Yahushua says, yeah, but it's also written, thou shalt not tempt the Most High. You see? So yes, the thing concerning Yahushua, the angels shall minister unto him, is true. And that's written. But Yahushua is not going to tempt the Most High just because that's written. You see, so you might think, and this is something that I had to deal with back in the days, man. I dealt with a woman, and she was already watching GMS before I met her. So now I met her, and she said, yeah, I follow GMS. I said, hey, I'm in GMS. Oh, yeah, I know. She already knew. It was already planned out and shit like that. She already knew who I was. So now she knows scriptures too, right? So then she would justify her ways with scriptures towards me. She would pull scriptures on me. But if you know scriptures and pull scriptures, that doesn't mean that you're good, man. Satan knows scriptures. Satan knows the word of the Most High. That doesn't make him good. He's the minister of evil and wickedness, man. You see? He's on the left-hand side of the Most High. So don't think that if people pull scriptures on you to make you feel bad, that they're good. Just meditate upon the fact that Satan knows scriptures too, man. And guess what? How do you battle Satan? With scriptures. With the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the scriptures, man. Go on.
Matthew 4, verse 18. So like at verse 8. Again, the devil taketh him up into an exceeding high mountain, and showeth him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them, and said unto him, all these things will I give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me.
Yeah, man. So here it is. Satan is able to give you all the riches and the power and the might in the world if you worship him. So what do these elites do? They worship Satan. What do these celebrities do? They worship Satan. They know what to worship in order to get the riches of this world, man. But guess what? We are in a poor estate, and we are in a meek estate because we follow in the footsteps of a man that lowered himself in the form of a man and laid down his life. Meanwhile, he's the king of the whole universe, man. He made himself poor. He made himself poor in his worldly estate, but he made himself of a low reputation, man, just to come amongst his brethren and to walk with them and to do the work that the Most High sent him to do, which is laying down 5 o'clock, to lay down his life for his brethren, man. A greater thing can no man do but to lay down his life for his brethren, man. You're supposed to get tears in your eyes reading Isaiah 53, man. You're supposed to feel the heaviness in your heart that there is a man that laid down his life for all the wrongdoings that you have done throughout all generations, man. And to come. Because you make mistakes daily, man. And don't stop until Yahweh Shem Yashai puts a heart of flesh, gives us a heart of flesh, which represent that it's written in our inward parts, man. We don't know no better. This is righteousness, and righteousness comes automatically for us. Give me that in Jeremiah. Jeremiah, no man shall teach his neighbor.
This is Revelation 5, verse 12, saying with a loud voice, worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive power and riches and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and blessing. Yeah, man, just like the brothers going into, that Lamb, which is Yahushua, he laid down his life. He was slain, and he's worthy to receive all these things. He receives riches, power, wisdom, strength, honor, glory, blessings. Like it says in Colossians 3, Yahushua, he he has everything. You know, every dominion, everything is given unto him. You know,
Colossians 1.
Colossians
1 and 16.
1. I thought it was 3.
Everything is created by him and for him. Grab Romans 8 and 16.
I have the Jeremiah.
Read.
This is Jeremiah chapter 31, starting at verse 31. Behold, the days come, said the Lord Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand, to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was an husband unto them, said the Lord Yahweh. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, said the Lord Yahweh, I will put my law in their inward part.
Yeah, so this covenant will not be according to the fashion of when the Most High took us out of the land of Egypt. Because what happened then, the Most High showed us the commandments on stone, written on stone tablets. This is how you gotta do, this is how you gotta operate. So that is the heart of stone. We have to refer to the stone tablets in order to understand and know what to do. Okay? And it also represents the hardness of our mind. Because he said, this the commandment that you break. Read that again. That ye break.
Yeah, which is Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 32. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break.
Which my covenant they break. You know, because we are stiff-necked, hard-headed people, man. That's also what the stone represents, the hardness of our head, not willing to listen. Okay, read on.
Although I was an husband unto them, said the Lord Yahweh, but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, said the Lord Yahweh, I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and I will be their power, and they shall be my people. And they shall teach no more.
So the laws will be written in our mind. So just as when you are born, like the scripture says, the first voice that you utter is crying. That just happens. You have no power or control over that as a baby. Just like that, you have no power or control over, so-called doing what you want. Your will be the will of the Most High. Everything is gonna be you just gonna be programmed the right way. You see? Because the malicious soul came into Adam, and we all come from Adam, so we all have that malfunction. We are malfunctioned. Another malfunction is it's not actually, it's the Most High makes us. The Most High has implemented a malfunction in our growth, in our growth, which is our life expectation, man. The Most High be like, let me put a little arrow over there. They will not grow old no more, because there's a malfunction in the program. And also concerning our knowledge, let me block that knowledge. Let me only allow them to go this far, that they don't reach the tree of life, which is the ultimate wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That's why these so-called scientists, they know we only use a certain amount of brain capacity, man. The brain that we have is only being used to a certain extent. You see, that's why there are things happening within your brain. Like, for example, you think about somebody that you haven't seen for a long time. The next day you see this person. Your mind, somehow, you already felt that it was going to happen.
Telepathically or something
telepathically,
like
or you have a dream and then the dream happens. You see? The Most High already put you in the future, in your sleep. He already implemented what was going to happen, and then it happens. You be like, wow, that's heavy, man. That's heavy. And at the moment, you might think, look at the dream and be like, nah, that can't be it. But then later on, you find out, yeah, that was actually it.
And if you want to know what 100% of your brain capacity can do, watch the movie Lucy.
Yeah. Actually, while I was explaining this, I was also thinking about the movie Lucy. Very good movie, man. If you haven't seen the movie, you're not in the truth. No, you have to be. Nah, man. Let me stop blasting, brother. Go. But I think the majority of the brothers in GMS have watched Lucy, man. Did you watch Lucy? Of course. Did you watch Lucy? Did you not watch Lucy?
I've never heard of it.
You never heard of it?
I heard of it now.
That's it's a good movie. It's not old either. You know, I don't like watching old movies.
With what is this woman's name? Huh? Scarlett Johansson. Yeah, man. Scarlett Johansson. She's a very good actress.
She also plays in Marvel.
Calm down with the lust, man. With the lust thereof.
I'm just giving her compliment.
Don't let your wife in Amsterdam Central hear this.
Okay.
Go on.
Jeremiah?
Yeah.
This is Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 34. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor.
Yeah, this was the point. Israel is not gonna teach his neighbor no more. Everyone is gonna know it, so nobody has to teach someone else about the laws of the Most High. When you go into history, when we had the stone heart, Nehemiah was set up. Nehemiah said everyone is gonna have to listen. Sit your ass down.
That's right.
Was it Nehemiah also?
Nehemiah.
Yeah, Ezra and Nehemiah did that. Sit your ass down, and we're gonna have a class, and there's gonna be the priest is gonna read the book of the law unto you, that you remember it again. Because seeing ye have lost it, let me put it back into your remembrance. Because the commandment of the Most High was that ye shall teach it unto your children, which ye didn't do, so ye have forgotten the law of the Most High. Let me put it back into your remembrance. You see? And that is our duty right now also, man. We speak about the law because we cannot disannul the law. You see, give me Romans 3 and 31.
You want me to finish this one first?
Yeah, finish it. Let's put this up. Grab Romans 3 and 31.
This is Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 34. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord Yahweh, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, said the Lord Yahweh.
Yeah, man. Whether child or elder, it doesn't matter. Everyone, you got to be born with the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the Most High.
I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more.
Yep. I will forgive their iniquity and remember their sin no more. So all Israel will be forgiven, man. All Israel will be forgiven. All Israel will be forgiven. You see, that's why in Thessalonians it says, whether you wake or sleep, we shall all live with Yahushua. Whether you are in this truth or not, eventually in the kingdom, we will all live with Yahushua. Read that.
This is Romans 3, verse 31. Do we then make void the law through faith? Yahweh forbid. Yea, we establish the law.
Yeah, man. So we don't cancel the law because we are saved by faith. No, we don't do that, man. We establish the law. So we go into it. Where did our people go wrong? What did they do? Where did they mess up? What is Zoroastrianism? What are the groves? What are the stocks? What are the stones that they worship? What were they doing, man? Why did the Most High get so angry? We go into the law. What are you supposed to do according to the law in this or that situation? You see, we go into it and we teach it. This is the law. Are you being called righteous according to the law? No. The righteousness now comes by the faith that we have in Yahweh Shem Yahushai, the hope. What is the substance? What is the substance of faith? The things hoped for, the evidence of things that are not seen. So you, as a man of the Lord, have to hope for something that you can't see yet. Because if you only start to believe when all hell breaks loose, you're too late. You're too late, nigga. It's done. Your time was up, man. The Most High wants you to believe without seeing. Blessed are those that believe even though they have not seen. That's what Yahushua told Thomas. Thomas said, I only believe if I see it happen. That's what a lot of Jakes say nowadays also, man. They tell me seeing is believing. I say, yeah. When you see it, it's only gonna be too late. But you can follow that statement, seeing is believing. You know what you're gonna do? You're gonna headbutt the nuclear missile. You're gonna headbutt the nuclear missile, man, with that statement. Because the Most High is gonna visit the earth with wrath and with fire. Go on. Yeah.
This is Galatians 3, verse 12. And the law is not of faith, but the man that doeth them shall live
therein.
in them.
Yeah, shall live in them. Yeah, man. So, according to faith, we will be saved. But if the man walks by faith, he will look at the law and try to do the best that he can, man. He will try the best that he can to live in, to keep those laws, man. You see, because it is righteousness, it is beautiful, it is the will of the Most High. And Yahushua said it. If you keep the commandments, ye are my friends. So yeah, man, hey, y'all got it, man. Take a quick piss, and then we're going to close it because 10 more minutes. Finish on us after the breakdown from Daniel 7.
With Romans chapter 8 and verse 16, the Spirit itself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of God.
Yeah, man. So we, our spirit, when we see another Israelite, we can see that he's an Israelite. Even if he looks like a different nation, but if he's intrigued by this, if he accepts this, if he doesn't come up against this truth, then the spirit is gonna resemble with him. You're gonna see that he's willing. You can work with him. So that's what the scripture speaks on.
So with the understanding of the scriptures, we're able to do these things, man. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai that's given unto us. Break down who are the Israelites. Break down that, hey, there's foreign-looking Israelites out there as well, the brother said. It can only be done through the spirit.
Back to Daniel. Verse 6.
This is Daniel chapter 7 and verse 6.
Just read 5 again and then 6.
This is Daniel chapter 7 and verse 5. And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh.
Yeah, so the bear, which is the Persian Empire, that was taking down, what was it? 3.
Yeah, the Medo-Persian Empire took down Lydia, Egypt, and Babylon during their conquest to rulership. Verse 6, after this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it.
Yeah, man. So this leopard, which is this Grecian empire that came up, and that leopard also represents Alexander the Greek, which is the king of Macedonia. You had 4 wings, which those 4 wings represents 4 chiefs, which are 4 generals, which are Seleucid, Antiochus, Cassander, and Limachus, right?
Ptolemy, Seleucid, Cassander, and what is it? Lysimachus. So you had Cassander, Ptolemy, Lysimachus, Seleucus.
Yeah. So Seleucus, he had great part of Asia, and Ptolemy had Egypt, Lysimachus had the lesser parts of Asia, and Cassander had what?
Antigonus, probably.
Antigonus, yeah.
What is it? Oh, it's Antipater. Antipater was also a ruler.
So go ahead.
Daniel chapter 7 and verse 7. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns.
So read again, Bob.
This is Daniel chapter 7 and verse 7. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast.
God, so this fourth beast, which is the pagan Roman Empire, it had 10 horns, which the 10 horns that goes back to the let me see, the NATO and the Roman Empire, and the little horn, and that little horn that is America.
Back in those days, it referred to the Edomite nations, such as the Franks, the Ostrogoths, the Vandals, that were basically in the western part of Europe. Man. Those were part of that Edomite. I say that. Edomite region of the Roman Empire, man. Those basically during those times they were called the barbarians. They made part of that. I say that the 10 horns and the what is it? It is the 7 head and 10 horns.
Yeah, you have 10 horns
and 7 heads.
Yeah.
That's what it was part of back then. But in this day and age, the revived Roman Empire is referring to the EU and the NATO. Those smaller, parts of it.
The iron teeth is going to speak on the iron teeth, and the iron teeth that resembles their military might. They were like no other beast before it.
This is Daniel chapter 7 and verse 7. Reading on, it says, "And behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns."
Yeah, man. So that those iron teeth are the military might of the Romans. It was like no other before it.
And I have a precept on that. Yeah. This is First Maccabees chapter 8, and starting at verse 1. Now Judas had heard of the fame of the Romans, that they were mighty and valiant men, and such as would lovingly accept all that joined themselves unto them, and make a league of amity with all that came unto them. So Judas Maccabeus, who was back then set up, over our people, that was fighting against the occupation of the enemies. He heard of the might and strength of the Romans, man. Because during that time, once we came out of captivity, we also set up. How do you say that? We set up back our people in the land, but you also had the Greeks that tried to conquer us, and we became subject unto them. And then the Romans came; they fought wars, they showed their strength, and then eventually, certain treaties were made with our people, with the Greeks and with the Romans, just so that our people were able to get by. Verse 2: "And that they were men of great valor, it was told him also of their wars and noble acts which they had done amongst the Galatians, and how they had conquered them and brought them under tribute." You see, so that shows you that the Romans were very powerful people that were able to subdue the enemies, man. Verse 3: "And what they had done in the country of Spain for the winning of the mines of the silver and gold which is there, and that by their policy and patience they had conquered all that place, though it were very far from them, and the kings also that came against them from the uttermost part of the earth, until they had discomfited them and given them a great overthrow, so that the rest did give them tribute every year. You see, so in a couple of verses, the strength and might of the Roman army and the Romans were shown, man. Which that's also written in the scriptures, man. That's why also they don't want you to read and acknowledge the Apocrypha, because that shows you who these people were. I'm gonna grab the 7 heads and 10 horns that they were. You want me to read on in Daniel?
Yeah.
Can I say something as well concerning why was that verse from all beasts were before? So the reason it says in Daniel chapter 7 verse 7 that it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it is because all the kingdoms prior to that had some sort of royal line being set up on the throne and them giving, the commandments. But what happened with the Romans? They had a Senate house. They had a form of democracy, making decisions, with a group of people concerning the welfare of the empire, man. Instead of one ruler deciding what's going to happen. That's why it was that verse from all the beasts that were before it, man.
Yeah, let's give it to the generals, right? The empire.
Yeah, because if you go to Daniel chapter, what is it? 8. It talks about that it shall not be in the posterity of Alexander, and why it is referring to that is because none of the descendants of Alexander the Great himself came after him. He might have had children or family members that could have taken place, but eventually that didn't happen, man. It was his generals that was being set up through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua to come after him, which those are referring as well to the 4 wings of a fowl and the beast that also had 4 heads, pursuing to Daniel chapter 7 verse 6, man. So I had a picture that I had. Where's my phone? Because I had it last week.
Yeah. The Revelations. Yeah. What was it? Revelation 5? No.
Yeah, man. So let me see. Here you have the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns, and the 7 heads represents the 7 governments or kingdoms ruled by Esau, which goes into the Greeks, the British, Germania Minor, Spanish, French, Romans, Germania Major, and the 10 horns, which is very small. And from correct, it says Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Greece, Ireland. Can't read that one. West Germany.
Germania Major, Germania Minor.
These represents these Edomite nations, man. And like I said earlier, during the time of the first Roman Empire, they referred to the Vandals, the Ostrogoths, the Franks, and those nations that were located over there. But in this day and age, we're referring to what I just broke down, man. This is Daniel chapter 7 and verse 8.
Yeah.
I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn.
God, so those 10 horns that were written in verse 10, which we just read, among them there came up one little horn, which that little horn is America.
For whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots.
And those 3 horns that were plucked up, those were these wars that they had. They had war against Great Britain, French, and the Spanish.
Can I say something concerning that? Because it's also funny because these countries, when America was being established, you had those countries. Those Edomites from those countries, they basically traveled to America, man, and setting up their little villages, and they grew, and eventually they became like little states, with which some of them were French speaking, Spanish speaking, English speaking. Even at the Dutch over there, man.
Yeah,
You know?
that's crazy, man. Because this also happened in Suriname. Because you have Dutch Guyana, you have 3 Guyanas. You have Dutch Guyana, you have British Guyana, and French Guyana. And also in Suriname, in Dutch Guyana, you had offsprings of French plantations, you had Dutch plantations, you had Spanish plantations. So those 3 European countries, which are all Edomites, they were establishing themselves in these places. Also in America, but South America is also the Americas. You know, you have North America, Middle America, and South America, and the Caribbean. You know, so they were all together all over the place. But after a while, they went to war with each other. You know, in America.
That's right.
That's why what is it? The War of Independence. That's how they called it.
Yeah,
The 3 horns, they broke off into 13 colonies, and then they had the War of Independence.
Back in Daniel chapter 7 and verse 8, it says, before whom there were 3 of the first horns.
Start at the top of it.
This is Daniel chapter 7 verse 8. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn.
Yeah, America.
Before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up.
Yeah, the French, the Spanish, and the Britain.
By the roots, and behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things.
Yeah, man. So the mouth speaking great things, that represents the president of America. You know, they speak great things concerning. Yeah, they're the mouthpiece actually of Esau. You know, you have Britain, Great Britain, that's the monetary base. America, which is the military base, and the Vatican, which is also the spiritual base. But America is that great mouthpiece that goes all over the world speaking about great things. They police the whole earth, you know?
What?
Yeah, basically that's it. And then you can jump to verse 13 and 14 and then after that.
This is Daniel chapter 7 and verse 13.
Yeah, so all the kingdoms, all the empires, they had their time to rule, and now we're in that transitional phase where in the empire of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is going to be established, you know, and it's going to reign forever and ever.
This is Daniel chapter 7 and verse 13. I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory, and the kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom, that which shall not be destroyed.
Amen. So like we were going into, everything was created by Yahushua, and Yahushua is going to have dominion over all the people. He's going to have dominion over everything.
Yeah, man, if I can say something. The dominion that these heathens had is nothing compared to the dominion that Yahushua is going to have, and he's going to divide amongst his brethren. That's why I told you, grab Romans 8 and 16. Read that real quick. Romans 8 and 16.
Romans chapter 8 and verse 16. The Spirit itself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of God.
We done?
And if children, then heirs, heirs of the Most High, and joint heirs with Yahushua.
Yeah, so we are joint heirs with Yahushua, which means a joint heir. An heir is one that gets that gets an inheritance, and a joint heir is one that gets a part of the heir is his inheritance. So Yahushua gets everything. We get a part of everything. You see? So when you look at the things that these heathens used to have, it's nothing, man. They got pieces of land. Now you got Jake. I saw this one video clip where Jake was explaining like Jake, the so-called blacks in America, made 1.8 trillion dollars as black people, and that is 8 times more than Spain. as a country, and that is 14 times more or whatever, something like that, than in Mexico. And then Jake said, Soca Blacks in America said, if we make so many times more money than Spain and Mexico, how can it be that we have no country? So Jake desires a country. Jake desires land. Meanwhile, what we're gonna get is freaking the universe beyond extension. The universe is endless. The universe is endless. So I advise you to watch this once. It says universe size comparison, 3D animation comparison. It shows you the planets. So, Europa, then it goes to the moon. The stream is lacking. The Earth, and then you see other planets. And eventually, it goes into other universes. And it shows you the size of everything. And the Earth is only this small in comparison to the things that we're going to see, witness in the universe and beyond the universe. Because according to Esau, Seek 2, Dwarf Galaxy. There are multiple galaxies, man. Sleeping Beauty, Milky Way. And then eventually it goes beyond the universe. You see? 110 light years away. Then you're gonna get shit like that, man. 500 million light years away. We're gonna snap in the finger. We gonna be somewhere else, man. This universe, this place that the Heavenly Father has created is so vast and endless. And we're gonna go into all these places, man, where up is down and down is up, for example. Where you see colors that you never seen before, where things are set up in a whole different fashion. You see? We're gonna witness these things, man. Eyes have not seen, ears have not heard what the Most High has prepared for you. For them that wait on Him. Yeah, man.
God. So with that, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto
Yahweh, Basham, Yahushai, Basham, Kakadash.
honors to the elders and apostles of Great Mills for teaching us the truth, and we will well increase the citations unto the Akim that is spread on the four corners of the earth, spreading this word in sincerity and in truth. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.